Welcome everybody to a review of another StudioCanal Cult Classics release. So this is 1974's The Antichrist. So this is directed once again by Alberto De Martino, who we've already talked about with Blazing Magnum, another StudioCanal Cult Classics film that we've already looked at. And he also directed the Blanche film Monster. It's a supernatural horror film clocking in at 112 minutes long. Stars Mel Ferrer, who was also in the likes of Rancho Notorious, The Suspicious Death of a Minor, Brannigan, and Silent Action. He also was a producer on the Audrey Hepburn-led Wait Until Dark, which is a fantastic horror film if you've never seen that before. Also stars Arthur Kennedy, who was also in Rancho Notorious, as well as High Sierra, Too Late for Tears, and The Man from Laramie. And it's about an Italian nobleman who seeks help after his paralyzed daughter becomes possessed by the spirit of a malevolent ancestress. So yeah, now sure, this is essentially a knockoff of The Exorcist, but it goes properly weird in areas to help it set itself somewhat apart from that more famous film. While the cast is also good and the score by Ennio Morricone and Bruno Nicolai is also really well but quite solid. It is also predominantly well paced. It has some fun set pieces, especially when things are being thrown around and The Exorcist takes place in the final act. It's got a few suitably gross moments. If you're not a fan of seeing toads' heads, for instance, being fed to someone, or let's just say a sexual act with a goat, then yeah, this isn't going to be right up your street. The plot is overall engrossing, and even though there are some dodgy special effects, the production is mostly decent. And I say dodgy special effects because instead of like with The Exorcist, where a lot of the stuff that moves around and is thrown up and down and stuff like that, which was physically done, it's all practical effects in that film. This does some more kind of old age kind of special effects where things are being thrown at the screen, but they're not filmed on the screen at the same time. They're just added into the film after the fact. So yeah, it's a little bit dodgy in that regards, but the production is still mostly decent, and especially when it comes to the more gross out moments. Just a shame though that it isn't particularly scary, it lacks tension, and it does take a while to get into the swing of things. But still, considering the Blanche film Monster from De Martino wasn't particularly great as a horror film, I only gave it 2.5 out of 5. I was really rather pessimistic about how much I was going to enjoy this, but thankfully it was a lot better than the Blanche film Monster, but not quite as good as as Blazing Magnum. So 3.5 out of 5 for this, but still, that is far better than I expected. To be honest, I was expecting more around 3 stars. So yeah, you get several art cards with this, like we did with Blazing Magnum. You also get a printed disc, again, like with Blazing Magnum. StudioCanal with these cult classics are very consistent in terms of the extras that they give you. So yeah, all of these art cards feature that on the rear, and these are the art cards themselves. These are a bit more artful than the ones from Blazing Magnum, which were just basically shots from the film. But you do also have shots from the film here. It's got a fantastic look to it, especially in terms of the production of the sets. And there we go, that's the final art card. And yeah, we also have some extras on the disc itself. So we have Scared and Profane, the audio recollections of Alberto De Martino. We've got Raising Hell, featuring Alberto De Martino and Ennio Morricone. That'll be interesting because Ennio Morricone done a whole host of kind of scores for all sorts of different genres of films, so it'll be interesting to see what his thoughts on this are. You've got audio commentary with author critic Lee Gambin and critic Sally Christie. You've got the Tempter opening credits and then a TV spot as well. So yeah, overall a really rather solid film. It's probably not going to be up the street of some people. Like I said, it's got some gross out moments, but I found them more weird and funny more than just outright repulsive or anything like that. And obviously, if you're a massive fan of The Exorcist, I'm not a massive fan of it, but I do think it is better than this film. But if you are a long-term fan of that film, then you will just be annoyed that it's basically a rip-off of that film for large parts. But me personally, because I like to see different kind of takes on similar genres or similar subjects, I found it to be an interesting watch and an enjoyable one overall. So yeah, there we go. So that's the 2 StudioCanal Cult Classics films now reviewed. Like I said, I do prefer Blazing Magnum, but The Antichrist is still solid enough. And yeah, but if you've seen The Antichrist, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.